This is Steve, and I'm here with Krista Stockman. We're at the Fort Wayne Community Schools Administration Building. And Krista, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Energy Savings Committee that Fort Wayne Community Schools has set up. What's that all about?
We have a Sustainable Schools Committee now, and what that does is we're looking at just some ways to be green. We're looking at recycling, energy conservation, things that students can do to help recycle. For instance, at the end of the year, we had a locker leftover project where students in some of the middle and high schools took some of their extra school supplies, clothes, things they were just going to throw away. We put them in separate bins and then took them to our clothing bank and or distributed them to other schools that might need the school supplies.
And you also looked at some energy savings that could be had throughout the district. One of those involved personal appliances of teachers, like refrigerators and things like that. What do you think can be saved? How much do you think can be saved?
In the spring, we looked at just refrigerators and microwaves and in just the classrooms, and from that we were looking at a savings of about $53,000, which equates to about the salary of one teacher. And so we decided to ask employees to remove all personal appliances, whether they're refrigerators, microwaves, lamps, coffee pots, things like that, from not just classrooms but also offices. So we expect the savings will actually be greater than $53,000.
And this was an internal committee, so it wasn't like you went out and hired this huge consulting firm to come in and do this. This was something that you did inside.
Right, exactly. We have been approached by outside companies to do energy audits, and we decided instead of hiring them initially, we would look at ways that we knew we could save money. We obviously know there's things we can do, and this is one of the first things we decided to take on.
The other things going on with the schools and kind of nationwide, President Obama is doing a broadcast next Tuesday to students. And what is Fort Wayne Community Schools' position on that as far as what students are going to hear it, who's making the decision over which students are going to hear it?
For the President's speech on Tuesday, we are leaving that up to teachers, whether it fits in with their classroom as far as their lessons, as far as the time. It's being broadcast at noon live, so that's a time when a lot of students will be at lunch. We don't have TVs in every classroom, so that would be a challenge, even trying to get all students to watch it simultaneously. We're not mandating that teachers show it, but we're also not banning it, so it really is going to be up to the teacher to decide what they want to do.
And can parents have their students opt out of this?
Right. If parents don't want their child in the classroom, they can send a note with their child that day, and we'll find something else for them to do if it's being shown in their classroom.
Okay. Has this been done before? It seems like I'm hearing that possibly the first George Bush did something similar.
Yes. In 1988, Ronald Reagan talked to students at the beginning of the school year, and about a year later, the first George Bush also had an address to students. So it has been done twice before, and both of those were broadcast nationwide.
Okay. One of the things that's coming up and kind of on everyone's minds, the budget. I know that it's not been released publicly, so we can't talk a lot about the particulars, but how about we talk a little bit about the timeline? When is it going to be introduced?
The budget will be presented at the September 14th board meeting. Until then, we're still really tweaking things, working things out. It's definitely not set yet, so we are still working on it until that point. And then 2 weeks later, we'll have the public hearing on it, so anybody who wants to comment on it can come to that meeting on September 28th, and then it'll be approved after that. So we've still got some time, lots of time for public input. We always encourage people to take an interest, look at it, listen to what we're saying, and if you have comments, the 28th is the time to come. It is, everyone knows we are still in tough economic times. We had to make cuts earlier this year, and as with the just cutting $53,000 in our energy costs, we are looking at everywhere that we can save. So I would say that's what I can say about the budget at this point, that we are really looking at how we are spending, and that's going to be a theme that you see in the future as well.
Okay. Anything else going on that you'd like to tell us about? Okay, thanks, Krista. We appreciate your time.
Sure, no problem.